Hi, I welcome all the viewers on this online platform of Kala Darpan.
On this occasion, we will be having an online interaction Guftagu with eminent theatre and film personality Barry John.
He is a writer, designer, and a director.
He's also an actor, educationist, and calligrapher.
He is the mentor of many actors in the world of theatre and films. Barry John has received national awards like Sangeet Natak Academy, Sahitya Kala Parishad, Delhi Natya Sangh, Natrang Pratishthan, and a Lifetime Achievement Award, Mahindra Excellence in Theatre Awards.
Our host, Dr. Suwarn Rawat, will interact with Barry John. To give you a brief of Dr. Suwarn Rawat, he's a National School of Drama alumnus, founder member of National School of Drama, Theatre and Education, TIE company, writer, actor, and founder, artistic director of Kala Darpan.
Hi, Barry.
Hi there.
How are you? Great.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's our pleasure to see you after a long time.
Indeed, yeah, too long.
Yeah, because of this
In
COVID-19.
fact, I think I should never have left Uttarakhand.
I still remember in the 90s when you visited the origin of the Ganges, Gangotri,
Yes.
yeah, Uttarakhand. And I think it's more than 2 decades. No, 3 decades.
I haven't counted the years. Too many, that's for sure.
Okay. I welcome you on behalf of the Kala Darpan on this occasion of the Foundation Day.
I don't know where to begin. The thing is, yes, I was acting from a very young age. I mean, primary school.
Mhm.
We had good teachers. I was involved considerably with music and singing.
Mhm.
And of course, there wasn't much drama in schools in those days. There was an annual play or sometimes a festival play, you know what I mean? So I took every opportunity. I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew was that I enjoyed it. Without really understanding what it was all about. And I had no intention of taking it seriously and it absorbing me for the rest of my life like it has. I was just another kid on the block doing what he enjoyed doing, along with sports and I remember being in bed at a very young age and drawing and coloring lots of pictures. I mean, madly, insanely, very intensely, because I was just stuck in bed and had nothing else to do. I wasn't a great reader at a young age, but that really laid the foundation for the development of a lot of skill in artwork, in drawing. I studied architecture ultimately at school, and then a whole life of designing my own plays, and sometimes for other people as well. So that's another route which goes all the way back to early childhood, again, before I even knew what it would lead to.
In one of the plays, which, in Hindi was Suno Re Kissa, I was also part of it as an actor. It was adaptation of Willie Russell's British musical play, Blood Brothers, if I'm not wrong.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I can say I feel very, very proud of. Yes, I was a part of, tax production.
Great. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Frankly, I'd actually forgotten.
Yeah.
You work with so many people, hundreds of people over the years.
Yeah.
Details do get forgotten. But yeah, that was an outstanding production. I mean, it was very successful because it was done so simply. It was an open stage production, and there were only human bodies on the stage, apart from Piyush Mishra, who has had a dolak since he was leading the singing. He had composed the songs in that and led the singing in that. mostly.
Hmm.
But otherwise, and there was an amazing cast when I think back.
Yeah.
To have Rituraj Singh,
Hmm.
to have Manoj Vajpayee,
Yeah.
to have Divya Seth,
Yes.
and I'm sorry, they just don't roll off my tongue anymore like they used to. But there was a wonderful cast that worked extremely well together.
And Raghuveer Yadav was supposed to do, but he couldn't spare time.
His wife, well, someone who was his wife at that time did the role.
Yeah.
She's no longer his wife, but yeah.
And from here, then in NSD as a visiting faculty, 1977 to 1980, after Abraham Elkaji, you are the only director who directed a 3 production with the same batch after Abraham Elkaji.
Really? That I didn't know of that achievement.
Yeah, it was a 1979 batch, if you remember, Barry. The first production in the first year was Gabriel Kunja's Journey to the Mountains Beyond. And in the second year, Sophocles, Oedipus Rex. And in third year, Henry Gibson's Hedda Gabler. Do you remember?
I do remember, indeed. They were a very good batch. I got on mainly because the first thing I did with that was a very freewheeling, creative workshop. There was no production at all. So we got to know each other very well, very frankly, and it was always a joy to work with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were very fine productions. I was quite proud of all those productions.
And that was a transition period in the National School of Drama when Abraham Elkaji was taking exit and B.V. Karanth stepped in as a director.
Yes.
And especially in other batch, you have also directed Shakespeare's King Lear and Sadat Manto's Toba Take Sing.
Yeah.
In a silence, in a very subtleties, the nuances without any dialogue. But the one production which I remember, I was allowed by you as an observer, that was The King Stag, originally written by Carlo Gozzi from Venice, Italian, who is known as the champion of Commedia dell'arte. And English translation was the Albert Burmel. And Jane Kaushal did this in Hindi, Shahi Shikar.
I do remember, yeah. It was such an unusual play.
Yeah.
And in a very unusual half mime style, with dialogues. So, yeah, I do remember that. We did it in the circulation unit, I remember.
Yeah. And then in NSD Theatre in Education Company, you as a founder director and 1 coordinator and 8 actor teacher who do have that, acting skills and teaching quality. That was wonderful experience with you, Barry. That was the first and only theatre in education company all over India.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. It was great to have the privilege to sort of kick off that important work that TIE does. Yeah.
And this summer workshop, when, we explored from self and the family, then education, then the society, and then the extension of this summer workshop, that was Sunday Club. And I was with you throughout with George Orwell's Animal Farm, which you directed with the Sunday Club children. That was a wonderful experience. Set, the backstage work and costume, music, everything.
Yes, indeed. It's very ambitious, very, very difficult play to do, actually. If anyone's read the book, all the characters, except for a few farmers, are animals of various kinds, cows and pigs and horses and God knows what. But then the children reveled in all that. Children identify a lot with animals. We are animals ourselves anyway. And especially naughty children are very naughty animals. But yeah, it was a terrific experience indeed, yes.
And then one of the, internationally acclaimed play, Othello, where you delineated the character of Iago. a play in a black and white, which won the Fringe First Award at Edinburgh before touring globally. So how was that, phase, that experience with those actors? Like,
It was an unusual project for me, and I did it only because Royston Abel was directing it. He had been a student in the NSD. And, the premise for his version of Othello was really so interesting. I didn't act a lot by that time in my life. I was getting on in years, but then that's the way, I remember the first time he phoned me and asked me, will I play Othello? I said, Roy, I'm too bloody old. Othello's a young man. He's a soldier in the army and very fit. And he said, no, we're not doing Iago like that. I said, hello. And how? I was completely intrigued. And to do Othello with just 6 actors, that's really mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But we did it, and it was fascinating for us to do it. It intrigued audiences wherever we performed it. And various places around India. We performed it at Cairo International Theatre Festival, in London, of course, Scotland, yes, and in France, and in Africa, in, oh gosh, what's the name of the place? Where there's an international theatre festival there. I can't remember the name of the country. So much for my geography. But yes, it was, the thing is, it was intriguing. Everybody talks about what is acting and what is the approach to acting, and every other person you meet is some kind of method actor these days. And I don't think they really know what they're talking about. But with this, it was very clear to me, I was bringing, the role had 3 layers to it, because ostensibly in the play, I am the director of a theatre company. It was a play within a play. It was about this theatre company rehearsing Othello, ready for a performance with a foreign director, fancy ideas.
Yeah.
So I was the director of this company, and I was expecting to play Othello, being the leader of the group. But I didn't. So immediately I was made into Iago, somebody who's very jealous because I didn't get the main role. So I was this fictional character, the director of this company in the story. I myself am a director. I had my own experience and psychology to bring to it. And then, of course, I was Iago. I had 3 roles in my mind. I was very aware of shifting between myself, between this fictional director, and between Iago.
So
it's just unbelievable experience. I can't tell you.
Yeah, the transformation from actor to character and vice versa.
Yeah, indeed.
So that was,
because a lot of the script, the Shakespeare was Shakespeare. But then the other scenes between the actors, the rehearsal scenes, we devised those. They came out of our own conversations and imagination.
Yeah, even that the Soliloquy is a few sequences were in Assamese, which Adil,
And that's right. There were many languages.
Yeah.
Initially, we had an Italian director, and she spoke Italian.
Yeah.
And she got pissed off. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
And then we had a Dutch woman played it at one point, so we had Dutch in there as well. Yeah, it's very interesting.
A few elements of Kathakali was there also. I saw here in Delhi in British, this concert when you perform. I witnessed this production. It was wonderful.
Really?
Yeah. Do you think this workshop oriented to tap to spot any actor, either it's a grown up or child, or you think no? A workshop is not that much fruitful. It should be spontaneous, and slowly she can groom himself or herself. What do you think?
Now you're talking like a film director yourself.
No,
Giving
especially.
excuses why pre-production film workshops
Uh-huh.
should not happen.
Mhm.
I fully believe in them. Having been in some few films myself, I really miss that theater gives you all that workshopping, that training, that figuring out things, discussions that the cast, that rarely happens in film. Though I understand it's beginning to change somewhat.
Yeah.
But to think that you go into a production on the first day of work and you're meeting everybody for the first time, and the set and everybody else that's involved. It's just crazy to me that there isn't more consideration given to the benefit that one can get from the cast meeting together, getting to know each other, working, having workshop exercises and working on scenes from the script itself, so that everybody's on the same page by the time shooting begins. I don't understand why that is not common sense for most film directors.
Especially you have worked with the Satyajit Ray's, the players of HS, and Richard Attenborough's Gandhi. How was that experience?
I was very young, and these were some of the first films I ever did. And I was not trained for film, like most people. You know, you've acted in plays so that you know how to walk and talk. So that qualifies you to act in films. But of course, then you're in for a few shocks and a few knocks. Not really knowing how films are made, even the whole process, you know. Yeah, I mean, both the experiences were wonderful, very kind to me, fortunately. Both to work with Satyajit Ray, who's absolutely a genius. My first introduction to him was meeting him in Delhi before the shoot. And I hadn't been cast. I just got the message that he wanted to meet me in the Imperial Hotel in Delhi. So I went, and fortunately he was on his way to meet his art director in Mumbai. So he had all his drawings. He had props, he had shawls, antique shawls that he had personally collected. And all the drawings, of course, he had a drawing of me. I was such a minor character. I was a doctor in the residency. I had one scene with Attenborough.
Oh.
And but he had read a book about this particular guy, and he had drawn his makeup. My face was covered with whiskers. My young and beautiful face, not this old ugly one. And but nobody recognized me because and I wore spectacles as well. But I didn't know it was a casting meeting, but he just said, "I'd like you to play this role, this doctor." I said, after I picked myself up off the floor, I said, "Okay." Wonderful experience.
Yeah, that was
because he's so well prepared. He knows,
meticulously planned.
He's got this famous big red book. He's got the whole script written out by hand with his, what do you call it? Images of each frame that he wants to shoot, sketched in alongside the script. I mean, the man is just like nobody else, you know. By the time he comes to shoot, he's so calm, so collected, so patient, unlike any other film director you can think of.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But Richard Attenborough was also similar, but then he's got 500 people working for him. These are personal people helping me out with his work. And that again was just one scene that I had. Important scene as a policeman who went to Gandhi's ashram and arrested him for sedition. So I met all the bigwigs. I mean, I had to arrest Gandhi himself, played by you-know-who, and Roshan Seth was there, remember? Gosh, everybody was there. And now I was virtually an unknown, being so young. But I've never been comfortable in film, frankly. Unlike, theater is so much more actor-friendly than film. In film, you're just a prop, you know, and you're a machine that's switched on, switched off, action, cut, and this machine is supposed to be blessed with perfect continuity. You have to remember what you've done and redo it the same way and the same emotion and the same action behavior. I'm just never comfortable with all that. I did as well as I could. What else? But it's so different. It's such a mechanical medium compared to theater.
Okay, after this,
Am I talking too much? Please tell me to shut up.
It's okay. You also shared a screen with the mega star who was in the 20th and even today in the 21st century. How was that experience?
Who's the megastar?
Amitabh ji.
Oh.
I think as a professor.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
It was a big disappointment.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mainly because he was so unfriendly. He didn't want to talk to anybody. Between shots, he would isolate himself, just be munching on something. I mean, surrounded by his bodyguards.
Okay.
In a chair, sitting in a chair in the middle of a huge garden, but no one. Well, at least with me, maybe he just didn't fancy talking to me or getting to know me. But I was, enormously disappointed. There's no great experience at all doing that film. Teen Pati you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about Teen Pati. Yeah. And especially the Pradeep Krishan's, that Messi Sahab, what was that?
Messi Sahab was glorious. I mean, that was really my first film.
Oh, really?
Not literally, but first film in the sense of working hard on it, rehearsing it, and then, really thinking about the character and the way I spoke, the way I delivered. I was this Englishman who was meant to be quite pucker, which I'm not. I'm not that kind of Englishman who's very pucker and arrogant. But then of course, I had to speak Hindi in this, which wasn't difficult. I had a very bad Hindi accent anyway. So, but the film was, I loved the story. I loved what we were making, and I loved working with Raghubir Yadav. That was a joy. Very fond memories of Messi Sahab shoot.
Is there any connection between Imago and the Free Bird Collective?
Well, I am the connection, but I've broken that connection. I've resigned from BJAS 2 years ago, in fact. And now the Free Birds Collective is my own startup company. I'm starting again from scratch on my own.
Okay.
For reasons I won't go into, a lot of unsavory.
Yeah, this national education policy at present, and this Delhi government, they are introducing this international baccalaureate in a school. So they are trying to contact the Barry John Acting Studio and the input. So as you have told, you are no more there. So it's, something which you revealed here. Otherwise, there is some sort of misunderstanding.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody there qualified to undertake such an important job.
Because one MOU was signed between NSD and, these so-called institute. And Barry, what do you think the effect of the COVID-19?
Well, it was sad for everybody. It just, not only artists, but all sections of society, I think, were hit. Nobody really could quite believe that it was, it spread and was so wide and deep in its reach on people. It was quite disastrous. And the thing is, nobody knew how to cope. No government was really on top of the job. The health authorities in most countries couldn't cope. There weren't enough hospital beds. There weren't enough oxygen cylinders. I remember there was not enough vaccine to go around, and so on and so forth. People lost their jobs. People tried to reach home by walking because they had no money. Their wages had been stopped. So, and of course, theatre suffered as well, because theatre is a group. An audience is a large body of people, so it wasn't allowed. They would have infected each other. So would the cast on stage as well. So all theatre activity was naturally, like all schools and colleges were closed. So the performing arts closed down. So that's terrible. That's suddenly you're without a job, you're without work, and without money. It's no joke. It's part of my own story. Why I'm back in Mumbai working full time is because of COVID, ostensibly. Other reasons as well, but yeah, it was shocking. It was and I remember thinking, everybody got so anxious. They were so bored because they couldn't go out without wearing a mask, and that upset a lot of people. And everyone was praying that things get back to normal as quickly as possible. But I thought, but then it's normal, which has brought us to this sad situation. The way we normally act and behave is what has helped to spread COVID. We have to learn, I'm thinking there's so much to learn out of this situation, where we change our ways and learn from that whole experience. But I don't think it really has happened. People were so anxious to get back to enjoying life and going out without a mask and joining their friends, having a beer and in the pub and restaurants and so on. That, yeah, it was a sad story.
So, Barry, now we are, going to conclude this online interactive session.
I see.
So in the end, anything you would like to suggest the viewers, you would like to give any message to them so they could groom their talent and to contribute in society? I still remember when I was working with you in that Sonora Kissa. So I got in between on big assignment. I talked to you. Then you talked at length and tried to make me understand values. Values is most important, Suwarn. You have to understand. If you have committed something, then you have to fulfill that. The same way, today I also can relate and understand those, teachings which I got from here, from you as a guru. So can you convey any message online to those people, those youth?
I'm not sure, because I don't have the answer to all the world's problems, or even to all of theatre's problems, frankly. I've not made such a great success of my own life. Like I just said, here I am starting again after resigning from the previous company that I was, which carries my name and still carries my name. But I have nothing to do with it for various reasons. And I'm starting again from rock bottom, virtually penniless, and doing what I can. I hope to do more theater as well. Eventually, once the teaching that I'm doing has settled down and become a routine. And I still need to move into a new space. The space we are in is very inadequate. It's not in a very good location, and there are lots of problems there. But nonetheless, you have to, theater is always having to sort of improvise, literally and otherwise. It's never perfect. You don't have a good space to work. And throughout, even in Delhi, I remember rehearsing in car parks sometimes behind Rabindra Bhavan. Eko Dugatna was rehearsed there. Accidental Death of an Anarchist in English. Then rehearsed in parks and classrooms after school is closed, not very comfortable or salubrious locations, but theater is always struggling. It has to struggle. And I guess that's why perhaps we learn so much in the way of patience, in the way of imagination, in the way of new ideas, and learning to deal with our feelings, to control our feelings, not let them run away with us, not to easily get angry and bitter and violent. So that, to me, is the value that our work as actors has, and that's its major contribution to society, that we learn to work together as a group, as a democratic group. We're all equal. We're all grounded on the same ground. Nobody's better than anybody else. Even as a director or a designer, or you're just somebody who's contributing your skills towards the making of this product we call the play. That's the important thing.
So you suggest that all these three factors are important, like the teaching learning hours and the faculty and the syllabus.
Well, you're trying to put words into my mouth, I think.
No, not at all. I'm just, how you like to respond.
What do you mean, sir?
No. And especially in the, international culture, in context of the peace. Now this Ukraine and here and there, this.
Yeah, so, I mean, a bunch of actors going to Ukraine, what on earth would we do except get killed?
Yeah.
And what do we do to convince the rest of the world that what Putin and the Russians are doing is just so regressive, it's so violent, it's unbelievable. Just to suddenly decide you're going to invade another country and bring it to ruins, regardless of who you kill in the process, men, women, babies. It's just, I don't know who is the UN itself and America and the UK, nobody's got the answer. Nobody knows how to deal with that problem, what to do. Maybe it's the work of an artist who could point the way. Somebody could write a script and provide a solution, at least in their imagination.
Yeah. Even once you told, even how these terrorists hijacked the plane, we can train those hostages in the plane. I remember still, either the theater and drama and these tools can
Yeah, well, we do say, no, especially in TIE, that theater is a rehearsal for life. That sums it up. It's a rehearsal for life. You learn in theater what you can do, hopefully with your own life and your own family and friends.
The brochure of the TIE, I still remember, 16 October 1989, when it was established, you quoted a Chinese proverb. I hear, I forget, I see, I remember, I do, I understand.
That's right. Theater is doing.
Yeah. here. And in the end, if you would like to say something which I have not asked, you are, you know,
I'll definitely try and make another visit to your beautiful town. That's
wow,
for sure.
that's our. Oh, you mean that Gangotri, that origin of the
Indeed.
Ganges,
Oh,
Uttarakhand?
yes, of
Oh,
course.
most welcome. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I